So Czechoslovakia never existed before the World War. Was created the 28th of October 1918. After the war, the two nations, the Czech and the Slovak, they were speaking Czech even when they were under another regime. Then they were speaking Slovak. Those were two languages very short, very close to each other. So it was decided on the higher places, like it used to be when they signed a peace agreement. The highest level politician decide about the nations after the war, I mean. So they decided that those are two nations, it's very short, very similar languages, and they became one, the Czechs and the Slovaks, and it became one regime, one state, Czechoslovakia, and the love wasn't too big between the Czechs and the Slovaks, never. But they lived together. We didn't feel the love. We in a small city, town. I was born in a town. Today it's a big city, but I was born in a town. And there we never felt that we are citizens second class. We were normal, living our life, everybody that I was born in a town that's called Humene. It's in East Slovakia. East Slovakia is beautiful geographically, a picturesque piece of land and beautiful because it has waters and hills, and it's really very nice and ideal weather. And 4 seasons, you know, very nice. And we were living there where about 40% Jewish, maybe 50% Jewish, but nobody was never thinking about it. We never looked at each other, and it's Catholic, and you are a Catholic, you are a Jew. Never it was a different. Even if you saw very religious Jews with beards, with sidelocks, you know. But anyway, we were friends, we were neighbors. The neighbor came in, Mrs. Friedman, I ran out of milk, can you please give me or borrow me a few eggs, or, you know, it was never a problem. But politically, it seems it was a problem. The Slovaks every time felt that the Czechs are keeping themselves on a higher level. They were a little bit on a higher level, of higher intellectual level, because they were before under German regime. Slovakia was under Hungarian regime in the Austrian Hamburg-Austrian regime. So till the 18th, in Slovakia they were speaking, the Slovaks were speaking Slovak, but the school language was Hungarian. And in the Czech part, the school language was German. So it was in other countries where had influence on it. So it was another cultural group, other cultural groups, and they were fighting till in 1938 they got what they wanted, autonomy. And the Czechoslovak Republic changed to Czechoslovak Republic. But it didn't take long, and because Hitler became legally, Hitler was legally chosen, legally became the Chancellor of Germany, but he already began slowly to occupy the world, the Europe. In 1938 they occupied already Austria. In September 1939 they went through our town to occupy Poland. So there began to be the influence of Hitler in a few countries, you know, because they have collaborators with Hitler in the war. So, and then the Slovaks asked for complete leave of Czechoslovakia, and they became an independent state. In 1938 I was 14, so what did I know about politics, you know? But I remember, of course that I remember, because we had to leave, we couldn't go anymore to high schools. Of course, we felt it on our bodies, you know. Hitler didn't think about all this very long. He went and occupied the Czech part. He said that was every time ours, German, and occupied. The Slovaks, they were official collaborators with Hitler. And this I know because I could read the newspapers, and they were very proud. We have even stricter laws against Jews than the Germans. They were very proud that they can collaborate with Germany. The most painful part was that the president of Slovakia was a Catholic priest. Dr. Tiso was a Catholic priest and signed all these agreements, all these new laws against Jews. So it began in the process of get rid of the Jews. In this part of Slovakia had about 79,000 Jews. And I don't know, somebody says that 2,000, somebody says that 3,000 survived, you know. So it was de facto, they got rid of the Jews. You have the cities that they were very Jewish, there is no one Jew living anymore. It's almost out of Slovakia, you know. It began very slowly. First, we had to give them all the jewelry, all the golds, everything that we had. All the Jews have give the regime back because we are not citizens of Slovakia. We are Jews and not Slovaks. And then we couldn't have even domestic animals. We couldn't have a cat. We couldn't have a dog. We couldn't have a cat. We couldn't live on the main streets. And slowly, till one day came in the newest law that they have to send to work, to Germany to work, and began with the girls. We were the first transport, I was in it, the complete first transport of the Jewish girls to Germany. You are not Slovaks, you are not citizens of our country, and what you have, you gained here in our country, give us back. That's it. You are not ours, you can go. But they didn't wait us to go, they sent us. So, and the first transport of Jews were girls, non-married girls, from 16 up 1,000 girls. It was from East Slovakia, and we were in East Slovakia, 1,000. We came to Auschwitz, and even the Germans were not there yet. They came 1 hour after us, the women. So, and the Slovaks paid the German for every Jewish soul that Germany burned and gassed, 500 marks. The Slovaks paid them to take them. Hitler occupied all the territories, France, and I was reading after, now I cannot, but I was reading whatever I could about camps. You know how many camps they had? They said that they were more than 100 camps. And we were not the only one. There were gypsies there, they were politicals, they were the women that were taking care of us were prisoners, women prisoners, German women prisoners. We were signed with triangles, and by the color of the triangle we know what we are. So the Jews, they had yellow triangles, so we were Jewish. The political prisoners had red triangles. The 25th of March 1942 we arrived to Auschwitz. It's not German territory. Auschwitz was Poland. It was a Poland city. I was there after the war 3 times already. The conditions in the camp were terrible. We didn't have anything. Not water, not food, not anything. We never had a shower. Once in, I don't know, a month or 2 months we went for a shower. We were full of lice, and we were clothes lice, not hair lice, because they took off complete out the hair from our bodies and gave us numbers. Yeah, my sister I had a sister, we went too. She was older 2 years than I am. She never came back. The first thing that they did, where they took off complete everything from us. We could bring with us 20 kilos. We didn't know where we are going. So we took the best things to represent ourselves. Everybody took the 20 kilos. They were so cruel that we had to carry the 20 kilos that they in Auschwitz took away from us. The cruel part of this is Birkenau, that it's a part of Auschwitz, about 3 kilometers from the city of Auschwitz. When we came, the Birkenau wasn't ready yet, the gas chamber wasn't ready, so we came and we stayed about 3 or 4 months in this Auschwitz. There were normal buildings, brick buildings, normal about three floors up, and they put us in. There was on the floor was straw, and we were lying down on the straw. It was evening time. We slept there, and all the time, of course, my older sister, she was the older one. I remember my mom said, "For Leah, I am not worried, but for Edith, I am worried. She is so." I was the little one in the family, not the youngest. I was the third, the smallest in the family. And because my mother wasn't tall, but my father was tall, so the girls and the boys, we were 7 children. 5 girls and 2 boys. In the morning we come out. Every morning they were counting us. We were standing and counting us. The counting was taking very long, and the time was, the weather was very bad because it's very north, and it was a lot of snow in March still. So we were, and they took away everything from us, everything, even what we had on us, you know, everything. And they gave us these striped dresses on our body. They were like the socks from this material, because it was terribly itchy, and we were walking like this. But we didn't have hair, so we came out for the counting, and we saw some crazy women there in the with these striped dresses. And then we saw that they are already apart, that they prepared them a day before. They began already to treat them. And they took away our shoes also, and they gave us this Dutch clapper of wooden shoes, you know. And when we went to work, they clapped very much. So we had to go in the winter on the ice, on the snow, bare feet, because we never got stockings. The shoes in our hands and bare feet through the gate, because this clapping irritated the ears of the Germans, you know, of the SS. So we went bare feet through the snow, and we got every morning, and they gave us our dishes. It was one bowl for everything, and a spoon, a tablespoon, and a red bowl, a big bowl. They gave us tea, and that was everything. With this we went to work, hard work, men's work, carrying bricks, you know, carrying stuff, working in waters. And from 8 o'clock in the morning, at 4 o'clock began the seelappel, the counting. We did everything where they had sent us. We were working with Leah before we both got typhus. From the lice, the close lice, they are transmitting the typhus, you know. So, and we were full of these close lice. When we took off the clothes and put it on the floor, on the ground, so they were moving because they were full of lice, you know. And so we all got typhus, and mostly all of them died on typhus, or got typhus, and they were gassed because they were sick on typhus. It's very high fever, you cannot move, and so on. Don't forget that the whole system of this gassing and crematoria, that was done from educated people. The chemists make the gas, the engineers made the gas chamber. If you would see the gas chamber, it was made with so much ideas, you know. It was showers, the whole showers around, in the ceiling, showers, and everybody thought that it's really a shower. And they opened it and the gas came instead of water, you know. We understood very soon, because immediately when the transport from other countries came in, so we heard about the politics, we heard what happened to the Germans in Russia, we heard from the Hungarian transport. They came 2.5 years after us, because Horthy, how he was a friend with Hitler, didn't let the Jews out. Only Hitler came and occupied it, then they came. So we had people from Belgium, from Holland, from France, from Poland, from Lithuania, from all these countries, except of Finland, no, and not from Sweden, because Sweden was neutral. Sweden and Switzerland was neutral. Those are two countries in Europe that they were not touched from Hitler. They knew what was happening, but nobody could believe it, that this came after the war. You know what, I was there, and when I'm thinking, how did I survive, I don't know. My two sisters and me, yeah, Hilda, Edith, Ruthie. Yeah, here is a picture of Leah, of my sister. I think this is the picture. Yeah, the second one is her. My sister didn't come back. There you have two girls. She's in a coat. Two girls and yeah. So this is Leah. My sister that never. This girl didn't come back either. That's my sister. The life was so full of terrible stuff that I don't know. I am telling one sentence and all the second is already in my head to jump out. So we got the tea every morning. They said that in the tea was brom, so we didn't get our periods, you know. So that was good because there were no hygiene, any hygiene. So and when we came back from work after 8 hours work, sometimes 10 hours work, we came back. So we got a piece of bread. They were these breads like this, cut in 4. And everybody got one part from one bread, 4 people, a little piece of margarine on it, and on holidays one slice of some salami, you know, or something, and a soup. In the same bowl that we got the tea, we got the soup also, but we never washed the bowl, you know. The bowl, in the bowl from the soup, we had the next morning the tea. And the tea was used as water to the teeth, brushing teeth with the finger, you know, like this, and we never spilled it out because it was too precious liquid. That was all the liquid that we got for washing hands and for washing face, for everything, this bowl of tea, you know. So we were taking care of it. So we were working by very hard work, and every time came some transports in, and we were there about this was the biggest, about 2-3 months we had reserves in us, and it wasn't, I think nobody died or nobody became sick in the first 2 months. So we went out to work. I remember Himmler, that was the Hitler's deputy. Himmler came once to visit. I saw him on my own eyes. I heard him in my ears. It was a storm, a snowstorm. It was beginning of April. We were there about 2 weeks, or maybe 1 week or 2 weeks. And even the SS woman said to Hitler, I heard it, the weather is so bad we cannot send them out. And he bumped with this boot, you know, that for Juden gibt's kein Wetter. For Jews we don't have any weather. So we went out, we went to work. and the SS had these dogs holding a short because the dogs were trained to kill, not to bite, to kill, you know. So and we had to think, of course, on the way like soldiers. And it was already, it could be May. We didn't have a calendar, we didn't know what the holidays are. And we know when it's Sunday because we didn't go out to work, we stayed at home on Sunday. And about, it was already nice outside, no snow, so it could be around May. We saw a big tent was in the middle of the camp, you know, and German, a non-Jewish, a German, a green were the criminals, a green triangle, a green triangular, a criminal said to us, "You know what there is under this tent? There are children's shoes, and you know where the children are. You see the smoke? So those are the children." You know, the Germans, even the prisoners were bad, you know. They were in prison. They had better conditions. They were not living with us. They were living separately. The non-Jewish prisoners were living separately. I think it was June or July when we moved from Auschwitz to Birkenau. Birkenau did have barracks. I don't know this from outside. It was wood barracks and there was brick barracks also, but maybe the bricks were only from outside. And in these barracks were Russian war prisoners. Normally, the international law says to keep them and after the war to exchange them, because both sides have prisoners, but the Germans never exchanged prisoners. They sent them straight. They were waiting till the gas chamber was ready. It took them so long till they finished the gas chamber, and then began the gassing, and then began the killing, and then began the fill up the camp, empty the camp. We saw it. The camp was filled up, the camp was raped, you know. When my sister was taken to the gas chamber, so they took them the night before, they killed 10,000 people. After the war I was there with a Slovak delegacy, because we from the first transport were left very little from the time. They said that from the 1,000 girls, maybe 20 came back, and I was one of them. So I went with them, and the mayor of Auschwitz told us, he was standing there, so there was a little bit so high a beton place, and he was standing there, and he said, "You know what is under this plate of beton? Ashes of 100,000 girls." So they used up even the ashes, you know, everything. So, and we came to Birkenau and they took away our clothing and gave us that was a little bit better for us because we got from the Russian soldiers that were gassed, we got the uniforms, you know, so we had pants and a blouse, you know, and it was a little easier because we didn't have naked legs, and it was a little bit, and it was not so itchy. And it began already. We didn't call it stealing. We call it organization. because we even didn't look at it as stealing. If somebody is hungry, so of course that he goes and he steals, you know, but he wants to save his life. For saving your life, you will, how they say, you will catch a straw only to save your life. So, and all of a sudden, the transports brought in packages, and all of a sudden shoes are exchanged with the wooden clappers, we call them clappers, you know, so it was already a little bit easier to walk, and we knew the conditions, how they are, but we were sick and there were no medication, anything. And we were working exactly in a cleaning of a river, not a big, a smaller river cleaning. It was so dirty, papers like everywhere, people are the same everywhere. I said to my sister, you know, Leah, I don't feel well. I think I have fever. The next morning we woke up, I had typhus. I had 41 fever. And she was really pulling me to work. Stay straight, don't show them that you are sick. Don't show them that you are sick. And it went so for 10 days to stay every day 4 hours in the counting cars and standing with this fever, and she was scrubbing, you know, I had so film for thirst. She gave me her drinks. She didn't have any tea for 10 days because I was drinking her tea. I gave her my food. And one day I woke up and I said, I am okay. And she said, but I am not. I was sick. End of October, she was sick in November. And she said, I cannot stand up from the bed. We were 5, 6, 7, it depends how many people came in, what capacity of the camp they had. There were times that we were 10, 11 on one bed. It was like it wasn't a bed, it was only a piece of wood and on its straw, you know. Didn't go, no, she's not going, you can do what you want, I cannot stand up on my feet. And they went and they checked, they usually checked every second day, every third day who didn't go out to work. So I came back one day and Leah is not there. So I asked, where is she? So they told me she's on the block 25, that was the block for the candidates to the gas chamber, you know. And I know that she was gassed at night of from the 4th to the 5th of December 1942. And who survived the typhus, so usually stayed alive already and came back. Now you saw these people with the diarrhea. They were, and this was good that we had pants and nobody saw when they were full, you know, because till we came to the toilet was a piece of wood, holes here, a row of holes from this side and a row of holes on this side. So we were sitting from the both sides, but the toilet, the building was dirty because the girls didn't have time to run to it and come to it, and when they came in it was full of people. It was terrible. And we were waiting when it was drying on us, so we scratched it off not to show the Germans that we have diarrhea. So and so I was working, and it was in January 1943. I woke up one Sunday and I cannot step on my leg. My knee swollen like a drum. We had friends, we had there a hospital, it was called a revier. It was like hospital beds. There were 3 or 4 beds in this hospital, but those were only for Dr. Mengele, that he was known. He was a doctor that studied in Prague. He was making all kinds of research on the people, you know. So he kept this revier. We had there from a Slovak doctor, a Slovak Jewish girl, Manci Schwalb, and the girls called her, and she came and she looked at my leg and said, Edith, this hurts terrible, but I know that it's tuberculosis, bone tuberculosis. And you have to walk normally. I said, how can I walk normally when I cannot stand on the leg? So she said, listen, yesterday was a transport. I can take you to the hospital for a few days till a new transport will be taken from the hospital. So I was there about 3-4 days, and then she sent me back to work, because the next day they were collecting all the sick to the gas chamber. And so it went till the process in the knee was stable, and it stopped to hurt. The knee was very swollen, but it stopped to hurt. And so I survived with tuberculosis in my knee, working and walking, and without hygiene, and without food, and without medication, and without doctors, with lice, with the worst conditions. I don't know if conditions like these can exist. No, in the nature doesn't exist. No, they are made by people, these conditions, you know. The Russians were coming closer and closer and closer, so they began to pulling us out of Auschwitz and go farther, and we had to make this. It's now known as the Death March. I was in Auschwitz-Birkenau, you can write it down. I opened and locked it. As long as Auschwitz-Birkenau existed, from March 25, 1942 to the 18th of January 1945. I don't know. You know, when I heard for people to say, God wanted it, I said, God didn't want the Holocaust, God didn't want, I'm sure. What God wants to kill people. I said, people did Holocaust. But I think by the surviving was God. That was his spirit, only through some special spirit. Because I don't have not physical and not other explanation. My sister was a whole head taller than I am. So that's Leah. That's my little brother Isaac. I think that's Ruthie. That's Hilda, that's Eddie, that's Herman. Yeah. You know, because you don't have explanation for those people that came back from Auschwitz or from other camps also. From Majdanek, Treblinka, nobody came back because there they made alone their graves and they shoot them and bury them immediately, you know. You have camps where people came in, but they were the same day they killed them. There were no gas chambers. But one of the very bad camps was Ravensbrück. We went from Auschwitz to Ravensbrück, and that's already in Germany, in East Germany. And it was in January. We were walking, I don't know how many days and nights, but we saw that the front is very close because we saw the Katyushas. The Katyushas were coming, and they have a special, because they come in a bunch. So you see, Katyushas are here. So then we arrived to Ravensbrück, because it was in Germany and the Russians didn't still be in Germany, only Poland, they occupied Poland, freed Poland, and there was terrible. That was, I think, a lot worse than death, because we were so many from all the camps in Auschwitz, in Poland, that the survivors were carried to Ravensbrück. There were thousands and thousands and thousands. We even couldn't stay we were sitting on the floor days and days and months, and one in the other, one in the other, one in the other. And you heard only, "Don't step on me," when they went at night in the snow in January. So I had a friend. She died, I think, in the 90s, in the late 90s, but she died for fear. She died in fear. After the war, all the time, she was in Israel, and she went to Israel in 1949, and she came to visit me to Prague. In June or in July, with a coat on her hand. I said, "Elsa, why do you wear the coat?" And she said, they will not say anything if they will see the number." I said, "Elsa, it's after the war." She died very soon. She couldn't live it, no. And you have people that you know, we have fences that in the evening came, that were put in, were full of electricity, and there were people that they committed suicide by touching it. I saw a guy on the fence. So listen, they were conditions that I don't think if in the Middle Ages were worse conditions. They were from like a sick brain. So the world that he will clean it up, and what he did made the biggest mess that you cannot clean it up till now, you know, and you will never clean it up.